Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Crambier, Advocacy Program Coordinator for the ARC of Iowa and its chapters. Thank you for joining me for Let's Chat, where I have short conversations with professionals and experts in their field. The ARC proudly supports individuals diagnosed with a disability, their families, and our community. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Tora Phelps, Employment Coordinator for the ARC of East Central Iowa, to discuss customized employment. Tora, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
So, for those who are unfamiliar with the program, what is customized employment?
Customized employment is a strength and person-centered service that we offer for usually people that have most significant disabilities or people that have failed traditional job development. So it's a service for employment for those individuals.
And how does the program work? What are the steps in order to be in customized employment, and what does it look like for somebody going through the process?
There are three main steps for customized employment. The first step is a discovery process where we really look at who the person is. We look at their strengths, what they're interested in, and we do a big deep dive into that. That's called the discovery process. The second step is customized job development, where we do a very different style of job development where we circumvent the HR process and we do a kind of a theme-based approach on what this individual is really interested in and their skills and strengths. And we also do informational interviewing to small businesses on their needs and their passions, and we blend those together to have like either carved positions or positions of passion with business needs. And then the third step is what traditional like job development would call coaching, which is customized job coaching for the individual after they've already secured the position.
So, if this sounds like a program that would be interesting for someone, and they're like, "Hey, I want to learn a little bit more," what are the requirements for someone to be considered for the customized employment program?
They would get a hold of Iowa Vocational Rehabilitation Services and contact um, a counselor there to go ahead and go through a referral process. If you're a business that is interested and have needs that you need filled, you can go ahead and contact the ARC of East Central Iowa, and we can help you through our services.
What are the benefits for an individual being a part of the program?
Um, First of all, nobody fails customized discovery. So there is not this sense of I'm not going to get hired or I'm not going to go through the program and it's going to be a disaster. Um, the other benefit is the person doesn't have to worry about the traditional interview, um, competing against a whole lot of people for one position, maybe going to a job and doing things that they're not interested in, they don't like, possibly doing a job that's not going to fit with their time structure, like working in the morning when they're not a morning person. These jobs are very customized to things that individuals really have a passion about, they really like, they enjoy, their strengths, things that they have interests in, and they feel very connected to. So it's very customized to the individual and to times that they work best and locations that we try to keep near or close to them instead of like if you live on one side of town, we're going to not try to hook you up with a job that's like on the other side of town. So we take a lot of things into consideration when looking for employment for these individuals.
What are the benefits if a business would like to be a part of the program?
For businesses, there's always incentives, tax incentives, and it's about feeling a niche for that and that business that they are going to have a need where they feel like they can be like using extra time, extra resources to complete that business need, where we could go ahead and fill that for you at cheap, usually a cost-effective way by employing a person instead of spending extra time, money, and effort to complete a job task or tasks, where we could go ahead and have one employee fill that job, where they get tax credits and it actually costs them less to employ a person than it does spending more resources by either taking another individual or multiple individuals to do the job, or it costs them more in their own resources instead of employing one individual.
Are there three businesses in town, locally in the Cedar Rapids area, which is where we're located, that they have really been champions, hired participants for customized employment, and it's been a really great and wonderful partnership?
Um, when um customized employment first came out, Prometric hired one individual as a proctor for their business. We also had Your Pie in Marion hire an individual, and a very recent one was the Community Health Free Clinic also hired an individual there, and they've just been awesome businesses that still have just great resources to talk to and work with, and have been very happy, for the most part with everything that their individuals do there. And we still have great connections with those businesses.
Wonderful. Why is customized employment important to Iowa as a state?
Um, Everybody always needs employees. And Iowa is one of those states that um, there's always an unemployment rate here. They always need individuals to fill positions. Um, and it has been one of the most open-minded states for allowing to get this new concept going for customized employment. But as far as the needs of the community, to have these open positions all over, and we have a lot of different small businesses here. We're rural. Even in our the cities like Cedar Rapids and Des Moines, there's a lot of small businesses involved. We usually work with the small to medium-sized businesses, and they need employees to fill these positions for them. That leaves a lot of growth for employment. So for Iowa, it's crucial to get all these spots filled, and there's no better people to fill them than people with disabilities that really have passions for these people that businesses. So Iowa is a wonderful place to go ahead and work on getting these employment rates conquered. So
Wonderful. So you touched on this briefly a little bit, but want to finish out with this. In the Cedar Rapids metro area, how can someone contact you to get started on customized employment for a business? I know we touched that it's going to be Iowa Evoke Rehab, and then businesses would reach out to you at the ARC.
yeah. So if you're a business and you're like, you're like, I think this could work in my business. Either you want to start doing internships, or you just have the need for customized employment. So these would be individuals that would have the same passion. You can go ahead and contact the ARC of East Central Iowa, and we can help you. If you're an individual and you're like, I failed like traditional job employment, which is I get a resume, I interview, and I've tried that before. It didn't work for me. Or you have a significant disability, go to Iowa Vocational Rehabilitation Services. They're out at Lindale Mall. Ask for a counselor and that you'd like to try customized employment. And they will go ahead and get you and evaluate and get a possible referral for you.
Wonderful. Well, Tora, thank you again for joining me today. For those
Sure.
interested in learning more about customized employment, you can visit arceci.org, click the Programs and Services tab, and select Employment Support. Thank you for joining us for Let's Chat. I hope you have the opportunity to reach your full potential today.